If you're in manufacturing and you've ever sat through an ERP implementation or watched one fail, I want to ask you something. When your team evaluated that system, what was the first question on the whiteboard? I'll bet it was, what will this system give us? That's the wrong question, and I'll explain why. I'm Josh Szybrowski. I've spent 20 years running manufacturing operations, injection molding, medical device, industrial production, global supply chains across 9 countries. And across all of it, one thing has been consistently true. The most powerful manufacturing management systems in the world are completely useless if the organization hasn't earned the right to use them. Today, I want to break down SAP Production Planning and MRP. Let's start with the mindset shift that changes everything. When teams are evaluating or implementing a system, SAP, Oracle, whatever the platform, the conversation almost always focuses on outputs. What reports will we get? What visibility will we have? What will the dashboard show us? Here's the problem. A system's output is only as good as what goes into it. The right question, the one that actually predicts success, is this. What can we give the system? Accurate bills of materials, real routing times based on actual time studies, not estimates from 3 years ago. Up-to-date work center capacities, honest lead times from your suppliers. When you ask what can we give the system, you're forcing data quality. And data quality is where most implementations quietly die. So let's talk about SAP Production Planning, SAP PP, and why it matters. At its core, PP answers one question. How do we turn a customer order into a production plan? It does this through 3 building blocks. First, the bill of materials, your BOM, the complete list of every part and subassembly needed to build your product. Second, the routing, the sequence of operations on the floor, who does what, at which station, in what order, and how long it should take. And third, the work center, the physical location where each operation happens, with defined capacity, hours per shift, shifts per day. Now here's where it gets real, because not everything in your BOM comes from the same place, and that matters enormously. You have in-house production, work your team performs on your own equipment, on your own schedule, under your control. You have purchased stock materials, components sitting in a warehouse, with a lead time attached, and a supplier reliability factor. And you have outsourced processes, work sent to a contract manufacturer, where your schedule is dependent on someone else's capacity. Each of those 3 categories behaves differently. Each has a different risk profile. If your BOM treats them all the same, your plan is fragile. Now layer in MRP, Material Requirements Planning. MRP takes your production plan and works backward to answer what materials do we need in what quantities and by when. It explodes your BOM against your schedule, checks inventory, accounts for lead times, and generates the purchase and work orders. The elegant part, when it works, is that it's completely automatic. Change a delivery date and it ripples through every component. The dangerous part, when it doesn't work, is the same thing. Garbage in, garbage out, at scale, automatically. But here's what most people don't talk about. Your MRP is built on a static operation plan. It assumes the world cooperates. The world does not cooperate. A supplier misses a shipment. A quality escape pulls a batch. A machine goes down. An outside process comes back wrong. A customer changes the spec. These aren't edge cases, these are Tuesday. This is where pivot planning becomes the difference between a good manufacturing leader and a great one. Your static plan is the baseline, the contract you made with the schedule. Your dynamic execution is what actually happens. Build adjustment triggers in for when operations fall behind. Build the static plan with discipline. Run the floor with judgment. And make sure your system can tell the difference between a deviation and a disaster. So what does good look like? Here are 3 conclusions I've come to after 20 years of running these systems. Number 1, data is your most valuable asset. With AI now able to find patterns that humans cannot see at scale, what you document matters more than ever. Document everything, scrap rates, cycle time variance, and pay special attention to quality indicators because they are the canary in the coal mine. A defect uptake in week 3 is telling you something is wrong. If you're not feeding your AI and analytics tools with rich, consistent quality data, you are leaving the most valuable signal in your operation on the floor. Number 2, segment your BOM ownership and hold each owner accountable. I break every BOM into 3 lanes. In-house items go to one owner, Purchased materials go to a second owner who lives in supplier relationships. Outsourced processes go to a third who manages the CMO relationship. When one person owns all three, everything becomes that person's bottleneck. When you segment it, each lane has an expert and an accountable owner. Number 3, treat your MRP like a living organism, because that's exactly what it is. Here's the mental model I use. You build Frankenstein on paper. You design the BOM, build the routings, and set the lead times. Everything looks right. The monster is assembled. Then you run MRP, and Frankenstein comes to life. Now he's real, generating orders and making commitments. Your job is to feed your MRP Frankenstein and control him, because if you don't, he will control you. The teams that lose control trusted output without validating it. The teams that win actively manage the plan, reviewed regularly, fed with accurate data. Build the monster with care, feed him with discipline, and never forget that he works for you, not the other way around. The organizations that win with production planning systems aren't the ones with the best software. They're the ones that ask the harder question first. If you're implementing, upgrading, or just trying to get more out of your current system, start there. I'd love to hear what you're working with in the comments. I'm Josh Zabrowski, Carbon Manufacturing LLC. This is Manufacturing Leadership in Practice.